So since the ANZUS, the Australia, New Zealand, United States Security Treaty was signed 70 years ago this year, it's been a big year for the alliance, there has been a kind of continued doubling down and, as I said, kind of broadening and deepening and a building of architecture around this security relationship with the United States, where you see really a kind of historical pattern where, you know, some development or some acquisition of defense material, you know, is considered taboo, it's considered off limits. You know, something like, for example, having American troops on Australian soil, stationed on American soil, is understood as something just kind of politically untouchable until it isn't, until all of a sudden we have an Obama administration pivot to Asia, and we have 2,500 American Marines on rotation through Northern Australia. And we're told through this narrative that that's quite different to having a permanent presence. But what you see is this kind of rhetorical building up and this kind of creeping logic of national security, where those previously untouchable, unthinkable things become obvious. And I think in that way, AUKUS very much fits into that narrative where, you know, nuclear-powered submarines was considered untouchable, something Australia would never have, something the United States would never share with Australia until it wasn't. And it follows that pattern of Australians ourselves having absolutely no say or no consultation in that deepening or broadening of the relationship. So in that sense, I think AUKUS makes kind of historical sense when we look at the history of Australia's relationship with the United States, which is not at all, though, I think, to minimise the significance of the acquisition, of course, of nuclear submarines, where you can see that logic playing out again. You know, it's not a huge rhetorical leap from nuclear submarines to a nuclear power industry in Australia, which the Australian Minerals Council is already gunning for, to nuclear powered submarines with nuclear weapons. And once again, I think you can completely see that happening without any consultation.